Hello and welcome to the tutorial for how to use your MDiv academic check sheet. This is a tool both for you and the MDiv office to plan your classes and to track your progress. This check sheet is your responsibility to update as your semesters go on. So right now, please bookmark the link to your check sheet so that you can access it easily in the future. Now, if you ever do lose track of it and you need to find it, you can always find it in the Shared With Me section on Google Drive. Just make sure that you're accessing the drive from your Andrews University profile. All right, let's learn about our check sheet. What is a check sheet? You can see that there's a lot of information here, and it can maybe feel a bit overwhelming. My goal in this video is to break down the sections of the check sheet and the process of updating it so that you feel comfortable using it, and so that it actually becomes helpful for you as a tool. To start, let's just learn first about the different tabs of your check sheet. So you can see at the bottom here that there are a number of different tabs at the bottom. All MDiv check sheets will contain spreadsheets for every possible concentration or dual degree associated with an MDiv degree. So the first tab here is the prerequisites tab. This will list the courses that you need to take before you take classes in different departments. Now, if you have an undergraduate degree in theology, many of these prerequisite requirements in light green will already be met. So you can see here on my sample check sheet that Survey of the Old Testament and Pentateuch were taken as undergraduate student. So those requirements have been X'd out. Your own check sheet is going to reflect your prerequisites that have been completed and recorded in the system. All of these other tabs contain the different options for how to complete an MDiv degree. And there are different combinations of concentrations and dual degrees. So if, for example, you have a chaplaincy concentration, then this check sheet would be the one that you would want to use. And you would drag it to be the first one in the list, and then you can ignore all of the other ones that come after it. The same would be true of any of the other degrees. Now, if you have a concentration or you're in a dual degree program, note that towards the bottom of your check sheet, you have specific requirements to complete either your concentration or your dual degree. If I was a Master's of Social Work dual degree student, this would be the check sheet that I use, and at the bottom it would list how I need to complete the requirements for my social work degree. Most of you are going to be using the regular MDiv degree check sheet, so that will be the one that we use for the sake of this tutorial. But know that the things that we learn here are going to apply to every check sheet tab. Let's talk first about the structure of the check sheet. It seems like there's a lot of information going on here, and there is a lot of information, but it's easy to understand if you just take it as sections. So the first section here at the top is your personal information. This is going to be entered by your advisor, and the information here is actually linked to what is typed in on the very first tab, the prerequisites tab. If you ever need to make changes to the information, please make it on this first prerequisites tab. The information will copy over to every subsequent tab. The second section is the degree requirements section. It's this larger column on the left. This is the most important part of your check sheet because it lists all of the academic requirements to meet your degree. We'll come back to that in a moment. The third section is the course availability section. It has a bunch of colored columns in it. These columns tell you in which semester different classes are being offered. So, for example, pastoral counseling. You can see that this class is being offered in fall and in spring, but it's not offered in summer. So you wouldn't want to make plans to take pastoral counseling in summer. You'll be very disappointed. The online classes are also listed here if you would like to take a fully online option. And we also have a list here of which classes are available through the MapM program. Finally, last section is all of the boxes of information on the right-hand side. These boxes give you information about your check sheet and about the MDiv academic program. This information is all very important. Please read over it in full. Now, the rest of the video is going to explain how to update your check sheet. When you update your check sheet, the left-hand side of your check sheet is where you're going to make your changes. And starting in fall 2022, MDiv check sheets have been updated to become more streamlined and more automated. Now, there's only two things that you need to do on your check sheet at least once a semester. Two things: plans and progress. So you need to forecast your plans and you need to update your progress. We'll start first with the planning. When you make plans for future semesters using the online semester course schedules, all you have to do is type in the term in which you plan to take that class. So if I'm starting out and I'm going to take Foundations of Biblical Spirituality, which you can see is listed here as a class to take first because it's a foundational course. If I'm taking this class in fall 2022, just type fall 22 in the term section, the term column, and you'll see that it automatically turns green, the whole row. If you're going to take worship, word, and music in spring of 23, you would type in spring of 23 if you want to write the full thing, but it probably won't fit in that column. So I just would write SPR 23, and then that whole row is going to turn light blue. The same is true of summer. If you were going to take a class in summer, you would write sum 23 or whatever the year is, and that whole row will turn orange. So these colors are an automated response to the term that you enter into the column. Green is fall, blue is spring, orange is summer. If you're curious, there is a color legend on the far right side of your check sheet that explains these colors. Now, some of the classes that you take are just going to be set requirements. For example, you need to take worship, word, and music, which is Path 523. But you'll also notice that there are places in the check sheet where there's a little arrow. That means that you have options to fulfill the requirement. So let's take the church history section as an example. If you are looking at your church history classes, you have to take CHIS 674, Development of SDA Theology, for 3 credits. You also have to take CHIS 624, Issues in Ellen G. White Studies, for 2 credits. But you also need to take 2 credits of electives in the church history department. Now, your check sheet would start by saying CHIS core elective, and it wouldn't have a course number there. But let's say that was the course you chose to take. You looked at the schedule. I want to take Early Church to AD 604, and the course number for that is CHIS 600. You would put in that information in your planning and list the term in which you plan to take the course. Maybe fall 22 is when I plan to take it. Now you're going to see that there are sections for every department, including a section towards the bottom for elective credits. You can see that you need to get 6 elective credits if you're taking a regular MDiv degree. In this section, you're going to type in the classes that you're taking as elective credits, credits that don't belong to different departmental requirements. Now, if you take an additional class that isn't part of your requirements, and your elective credits are already filled up, or you're in a concentration that uses all of your elective credits, you're going to list any extra classes that you take in the extra credits section all the way at the bottom. So even though these course credits don't contribute to the credits you need to graduate, it's important that you list the extra credits that you earn to keep an accurate record. Please also note this pink section here, you need to list colloquia on your check sheet. Even though you take them for 0 credits, you need to write which colloquium you attended and in what term it occurred, just like you would list the rest of your classes. Finally, last part of planning, you can see that there's a yellow section here for the Great Controversy Covenant, Law, and Sabbath class. This class is offered in 4 different departments, and you need to take it as the core elective in one of those departments. So when you take this class, let's say that I planned to take it as my systematic theology core elective. So here has a drop-down box, and I take Great Controversy, Covenant, Law, and Sabbath. I would select the course number, THST 608, and then I would say what term I plan to take it in, spring 23. When you take this class, please also note it in this yellow box. I'm taking it in the THST department, and the term I'm taking it in is spring 23. Once you type in the term, you can see that that alert has been grayed out because you've met that requirement. So that's how you make your plans. When you plan your upcoming semesters, please make sure that you note which classes you're taking and in which semester you are taking them. Now, the second thing that you need to do as a student is to update your progress when you complete a semester. The easiest way to see what you've completed is to go onto iView and click on View Academic Record. That will show you what classes you took, how many credits you took the class for, and what grade you received. Now, if you took the class for the right amount of credits and you passed the class, that would be a C- grade or higher, all you need to do is write the number of credits earned in the earned column. If I took Foundations of Biblical Spirituality for 3 credits and I passed it, I would write 3 in the earned column. And you can see that the row automatically turns gray. Please don't write your credits in this column until you actually receive your grades for the semester. Some students automatically fill in the earned column when they register for classes, but remember, you haven't actually earned any credits until you complete the course and receive a grade. Now, you saw there that the rows are formatted to respond to what you type in the earned column. So if I pass the class for the right amount of credits, the row turns gray. That's good. You want all of the left-hand side of this sheet to turn gray. That means that you've graduated. You've passed all of the classes that you need to take. However, if you finish the semester with a different kind of grade, you also note it here. If I got an incomplete in the class, and I would enter that, and the whole row would turn yellow. The same would be true if you received a DG grade. The same is also true if you failed the class. If you got an F or a D, please write that in the row, and you'll see that the letter grade turns red, and the rest of the row stays white because you haven't actually earned any credits for that class. Finally, it might be possible that you took a class and you passed it, but you took it for the wrong amount of credits. If you did that, the mistake is going to be highlighted so that you can see it. If I took Foundations of Biblical Spirituality for 2 credits instead of 3, you'll see that there's an error popping up, and it'll highlight that for you. Please make sure that when you register for classes, you're taking each class for the right amount of credits required, which is this column here. Your guide to know how many credits to take a class for is your check sheet, so please refer to it when you're registering for classes. Now, in theory, each semester you can just go through the colored rows for the semester that you just completed and fill in the earned column. So if I just finished fall, I'd look for all of the green lines on my decree requirements section of the check sheet, and I fill in the earned column for whether I passed the class or got a different kind of grade for the class. Any incomplete or failed grades, make sure you type them into this column as well. So that's how to update your progress. Now, I know all of this might have felt like an overload of information, but it's really simple if you think about it as just 2 steps: planning and progress. You plan your upcoming classes by filling in the term section, and sometimes if there's a drop-down, you need to select the class that you took. And then you update your progress by filling in the earned column when a semester is complete. Now, if for whatever reason you need to make a change to the formatting of a row, all you do is you hit the checkbox at the end of the row, and it will wipe the automated formatting, and you can make your own color changes. You probably won't ever need to do this, so don't use the checkbox unless you're instructed to by your advisor. Finally, the last piece of your check sheet is at the very bottom, the credit summary block. These cells have been formatted to add up the math for the credits you've taken and how many you still need. And the numbers in these boxes will show your progress and let you know how much you still need to complete. So right now, I haven't taken any of my prerequisites, and I've only passed Foundations of Biblical Spirituality, so I've got a long ways to go. But your check sheet will start to look different as you take more semesters. Anyways, that is the overview of your check sheet and how to use it. I hope this was helpful for you. Please reach out to your MDiv advisor if you have any more questions about your check sheet or your academic plans.